Let's start the list with a romance semi-harem anime, Rent a Girlfriend. I really liked the first season. It had pretty waifus and a somewhat enjoyable story. The premise is overused, but still it works just fine with the show. The main character is kinda weak and boring, very generic, nice, indecisive guy who stumbles on his way and needs the girls to make the real decisions. But still, Chitsuru is a pretty anime babe. I mean, there are plenty of mean, hot tsundere girls in anime that I liked, but Chitsuru is something else. Just like Lucy Harfilia, she is simply pretty.
There she is! Found her! Oh! Wait, what role does she have?
Or better put, gorgeous. Rarely have I seen such a cute, bright face. I need to buy a figurine of her ASAP. Mocha Shia or Lala look are also girls I consider pretty, but Chitsuru brings happiness to my soul. If I were her dad, I would lock her up in a castle. The first episode is a bit of a recap of the events from the previous season, with a unique perspective from each girl from the unofficial harem. There's a lot of These are like Nisekoi with the tomboy short hair, Senda brunette, the tsundere main girl, and the busty, more calm and calculated girl. Seeing Chitsuru act was great. She actually stands out from the rest. With how much her voice actor can do to evidenciate her character. While she was doing the play, Chitsuru was a completely different person. Way more loose, funny, and overall a complete babe. Pretty as a picture. Build hübsch, if you were to ask me in my previous life.
Run, Your Highness, run! I'm out of steamed fish shurikens! No, it's okay. I wasn't expecting them to save me.
Wink, if you got my reference. Okay, in another world. Well, this was supposed to be a parody of the isekai genre. Then we get like 3 or 4 isekai every season. It's how it used to be with mecha and harem in the late 2000s. I kinda like isekai. I have nothing against the genre. It's just the vast majority of them are lame and mediocre. I mean, it's basically the reincarnation of a hero. I mean, we have this in history and mythology. There's always, every century, there's a hero, or maybe even more. Kind of like with the superheroes right now. You have so many superheroes, you can make a Justice League. And that's pretty much the isekai. The hero gets reborn in another world, gets another chance, gets another shot. To give shots to the ladies. Anyway. Sword Art Online, Overlord, Log Horizon, No Game No Life are the ones that actually bring some originality. The rest are mostly an unfocused mess with little to no payoff. Anyhow, the idea of being teleported to another world was around anime well before this particular genre became a thing. Look at Inuyasha or even Yu Yu Hakusho. But now we have a weird take on this premise. Apparently we are starting with the end of the journey, and we slowly find out about his adventures as we progress in his mundane life. Forgot to mention Konosuba, also a great isekai. I guess it's a fun idea to already have the adventure done, only find out bits from the action as it relates to mundane activities of his boring new life. Still, he's trying to become a YouTuber. Well, gee, I certainly cannot relate to that. Well, unlike me, he's actually successful. Kakaroi Twin. This is the prequel to the immensely popular anime, but this time we follow around Mary Satome on her journey to fame and power in this weird gambling institution.
And it's to be the financier of a den. Just watch. Fastest way to the top. This is gonna be a blast.
I love this series, especially Yumeko Jabame. She's my #1 waifu. Mary's hot and interesting on her own way. I know she has a lot of fans, however. I would have much preferred to get the 3rd season of the show. Call it Kakegurui XXX if you may. That'll make it more obvious to what the show is really about. Yeah, the gambling is fun and interesting, but the anime is all about its waifus, the mean faces they make and the lesbianic tension between them.
My makeup is natural and freaking awesome. My nails are a conservative pastel pink, and I've been making sure to be extra nice.
So many lesbos, everywhere. Nearly all girls in this private academy seems to favor licking cunts rather than fighting a male partner.
Mikura.
A lot of BDSM and fan service while still not presenting much nudity. Well, I'm really interested in whatever Kakegurui has to offer, not that captivated by their simplistic game, which really relies heavily on cheating and circumstances. Not exactly a mind game or genius input, but more about exploiting the weakness in the character of your opponent to make her either make a mistake or reveal the cheating method.
If I tell you to keep watch, you'll not fall asleep. If I tell you to end your life, you will die.
Overlord 4. I have to admit, I haven't seen most of the Overlord seasons. When it first came out, it was the best thing ever. It had an amazing opening song and some pretty cool action. Also, Albedo is a dangerous, beautiful waifu. She kinda is mean, aggressive, and rather attached to Lord Momonga. This is awesome. From the looks of it, this season will have a lot of this vampire lady.
So soft. And wait, what's that fragrance?
Is there a problem, my lord?
We start with her fantasizing about her master, to later on have Albedo express her loyalty and attachment towards the main character, as they are dealing with the bureaucracy of this medieval fantasy land. Not that excited for this anime, however. I like the art style, and having a demon lord as the protagonist is a story. I mean, it's a cool concept, but I'd rather watch other anime at the moment, sorry. Tokyo Meow Meow. Yeah, the show has everything I love about anime. A bunch of cute lollies, in sailor uniforms and cat ears. They get naked when they transform and fight evil creatures while living a normal high school life. Filled with love, friendship, and romance. I like the expression one character makes. She's the definition of moe, with her cute big eyes, petite slender body, and eccentric personality. She's so loud and cute while trying to make some sense of her feelings and the weird magical stuff happening around her. I really like the first episodes. This is perfect. The voice acting is awesome. The girls sound innocent and cute, while also expressing clear personality traits. One is mean and arrogant, while the main one is cheerful, innocent, clumsy, and determined to fight for love and justice. Call of the Night. This is a pretty interesting anime. I like the art style, the atmosphere, the characters, and the overall vibe of the series. It's about some dude who cannot sleep, and on his night patrol he meets a beautiful female vampire. They talk a bit. And then she takes me on to her place. I mean, I would not go anywhere with a total stranger, no matter how hot her BDSM outfit might be. She might be some eccentric hoe who introduces you to some society where you have to give up your belongings and dignity. Well, the main character is dumb enough to fall asleep right next to her, and she, like any normal person, bites his neck. Well, she kinda is a ripoff of Toga, character from My Hero Academia. She's dangerous, blood-sucking. Also lolly, with a Kiran Mogami haircut. She's fun, and I really like her sleazy way of talking. Her accent adds to her sex appeal and seductive personality. This anime kinda reminds me of Dagashi, in having a white hair, weird girl change the life of an insecure, mundane, plain-looking guy.
エッチじゃないよ。男女が同じ布団で寝るだけ。
十分だよ。
大丈夫大丈夫、何にもしないって。先っぽだけだから。
何の先っぽ。
Vermin in Gold. This is basically Harry Potter meets hentai, with some awesome magical soundtrack, combined with edgy scenes and partiality on a voluptuous demon MILF. I prefer lollies or insecure petty girls, also tsundere are the best, so I like his female best friend more. She's obviously in love with him.
決闘よ！あんたに決闘試合を申し込むわ。私が勝ったら、そのハレンチな使い魔は。
But too shy to say it, even though she kind of thinks aloud. that she wants him really badly.
そんな、私たちまだ学生。でも、嫌だ、もう、バカ。
As always, the main character is the best but lacks one specific thing to make him complete, and he finds that thing in another person, this time a demon who follows him around and helps him achieve his goal. It's a good looking series, with some decent animations and good voice acting. I like the pink haired girl. She's such a mean tsundere. Kinda like Sakura from Naruto. You even get some ass and panty shots, and a beautiful ass. Pretty legs. The maid I've heard is suspicious, but this anime is okay, I guess. I like the maid. She has dark skin and a rather forward personality. The dub version is good, however I don't like the child protagonist, so yeah. The maid is hot and mysterious, also she has an amazing figure. The protagonist says the word suspicious way too many times. It's kinda overplayed.
A little something I concocted to make you fall for me. That is, what's commonly known as a love potion.
Liquor is recoil, Lord is with guns. Basically magical guns, but with modern day warfare weapons and a lot of blood. Although I would have preferred the anime to be called Clitoris Recoil, but that would be another series, on another site. Wink. As of now, I like the brunette loli. She's mean, silent, arrogant, and hot, more like the supportive type rather than the main character, but I find it rather pleasant to look at.
Once you've arrived, you should be able to find a guild where you can register as an adventurer.
Right.
Black Summoner, yet another isekai. We have like 100 of these already, and we ain't stopping. Can we have like one more season of One Punch Man, rather than all these mediocre isekai stories? As of yet, the stories seem standard. Some guy wakes up in a video game world. He's a rare type of warrior, which makes him special and very powerful. He possesses a skill, which is rather unique, and if people will find out about it, there'll be a lot of powerful authorities trying to capture and use him.
Summoner is an ultra-rare job, and in this world, typically there's only one per nation.
It's a normal premise, being kind of overpowered, but also starting the game from a lower level. I prefer anime with video game stats, which don't really explain what the hero is there to begin with, like Damachi or Red Elf Healer. But there's a blonde slave elf up for grabs, and considering the cover, she will become a trusty companion on his journey.
A genuine elf. Quite the rarity, considering they never leave their villages.
I like that he's an evil nature. Black Summoner is more of a summoning, being a black mage is more of the power of a villain. However, most anime characters seems to have demonic energy, either demon, yokai, or some black energy. Wait to see what our main character is gonna summon. As of now, he gets a brand new beautiful elf slave. An easy path to wealth and power.
Although, if you end up failing the job, you'll be charged a contract penalty, so choose them carefully.
Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World is basically Black Summoner, but with more sleazy protagonists and a lot more boobs and fan service. Well, Demo tries to add some shock value by presenting blood and having a more mature take on the implication of a parallel world. However, I prefer a more silly atmosphere if you're gonna make a harem anime. You can have badass action and some legit character development, like in DxD, Tsugumomo. You can have badass action and some legit character development, like in DxD, Tsugumomo, and Days of Life, but don't make it dramatic or realistic since the whole harem ecchi premise is bullshit. It's a fun fantasy. I have watched over 50 harem shows. I have to admit I enjoyed myself more whenever the story was character driven and less occupied by exposition and pointless action to fill the narrative gaps between the erotic scenes and serve as a distraction from the abundance of sweet fan service. Either go all action and throw boobs in my face, or focus on the absurdity of the premise, like in To Love Ru or Yuna and the Hot Springs. As the first episodes, well, the main character is at least horny and interested in girls, which is good. And he's on a quest of buying a slave maid with huge tits and a voluptuous figure, a worthy purpose to murder and pillage. Well, at least we see how much bully and big bossy titties this guy can bring to his harem. Devil is a part-timer season 2. Well, I liked the first season. It was a nice dynamic between comedy and social commentary, while following a fun adventure of a malefic entity stuck as a mundane citizen in our society. He has to work at a fast food restaurant to make a living and lives in a cheap apartment with his trusty companion. But kind of like the Great J will not be defeated, we get to see the humanity of this deity. They try to make some sense of our difficult reality and relatively peaceful world. Sadly, this scene introduces a child. I would rather have a 3-year-old make things more difficult and awkward between Emilia and the devil.
Mama!
Are you pointing at me right now?
Dada!
But I guess it's a chance to see the protagonist be a protective figure and maybe learn a bit more about his family. The art style change, which is a shame, but I can get over it. I prefer the original, especially by Emilia. Thankfully the dub version is still pretty dope, and the overall concept is entertaining and fun to watch.
怪我なんてしょっちゅうだった。辛い時もあった。
Now watching season 4, whoa, this show is rather popular. We have selected Japanese with its content, but I mean One Punch Man is barely getting any anime, and yet the show is thriving tremendously lately. I like Bell. He's a good capable protagonist. He's energetic and jealous as always, and the overall story does not change much, always traveling to some new level in the dungeon. I like Aisha. For some reason, dark-skinned characters are portrayed as promiscuous in anime and other media. Aisha is hot and nasty, also aggressive and possessive of Bell.
遠征に行くらしいね。私も連れて行きな。
And the fox furry lady from the brothel. They just had to ruin the fun and make her a virgin. When I thought we would have a whore in the team, besides the obvious dark-skinned gypsy one, the show had to make a clumsy maid.
こんな締め切ってしまって。
決まってるだろ、春姫。
Anyhow, all the other deities and characters of the series seem to be fine. The Loki family is a bit more interesting in my opinion, because I like Ainz and Lovelia. Because I like Ainz and Lephilia. Well, the missions are good and the fight scenes are colorful enough to make the otherwise mediocre story enjoyable.